Today on the show, strategy plus action equals running your business from a single login. Great coaches and consultants like you have the ability to change people's lives and transform entire organizations. And your impact can often go far beyond the clients you work with. One of the reasons I love working with coaches and consultants is because of that ripple effect. This show is here to highlight your expertise and empower you with resources and new ideas to grow your business. Welcome to Strategy in Action. Lydia Sugarman is on the show today, and we're talking about systems for your business, and really specifically the power of having a single system, a single login to kind of run your entire business. Lydia, helps companies on the RevOps side of things a lot. And, even for a solopreneur, a coach, a consultant, having some of these systems that we talk about today dialed in is so valuable to your business and honestly treating it like a business. The core functionality of her company, Venntive, is a CRM, and that's kind of the main hook in there. And having that database to manage your contacts, if not just your sales and marketing and who you're reaching out to, but if you're doing this well and you're building that amazing network of people, of potential clients, of strategic partners, you need a way to manage those folks and to keep track and above all else, follow up, right? That's always what falls through the cracks for a lot of us. And she has an amazing system for that. And we dig into the power of that and the importance of that aspect and how to achieve that. And then how that database, interacts with everything else in your business. This is a good one. Let's dive in. Lydia Sugarman, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Jason Croft, for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh yes, this is going to be fun. I'm so glad we connected. Gosh, months ago now, in some networking group somewhere of the hundreds that we both run around and participate in LinkedIn. And
oh man, you got to kiss a lot of frogs, don't you?
Indeed, but it's all just awesome and wonderful. I love the environment and the platform and getting to meet folks just like you. So this has been fun. I really wanted to have you on to talk about this aspect that running your business, kind of having a single place to go for all the systems in your business, all the data that you need to gather, and your product Venntive really does that beautifully as this CRM plus, right? Plus so many other things, but it really got me to think what an integral part of any business, whether it's a solopreneur or big giant corporation, you have these things at the core that should be there. Often as solo entrepreneurs, many coaches, consultants, like we don't have those in place, certainly not at the beginning. But that's so important. Even I'm, finally getting all these things into place, right? And to track this. And so I really wanted to educate the folks on the importance of that. But then certainly some nuance that I know you come with of when you're deciding on that CRM and the things you should really consider. So I think this is going to be a fun, nice, deep conversation around it all. But I want to, obviously I've mentioned Venntive, but tell me certainly about the company, but also what got you to there and be in this CRM world.
It was a gradual evolution. I have been in the online space since 1995, longer than some of your audience have been alive. And before that, I was selling syndicated television programming. And it was becoming not fun, but I started seeing, I saw my first email in 1992, and that's not early. It's not late. It's still kind of early, and I kept seeing things about the World Wide Web expanding and adding services, and thinking about how that would make our job as program syndicators selling programming to TV stations so much easier. I was imagining beyond the capability of what existed then pretty much. But anyway, that prompted me to move into that space and, sell, be a salesman for design agencies and marketing agencies and managing editor for startup, and then .com 1.0. And I had 5 years experience and sent out 100 resumes, and I got 0 interviews. And I was like, I need a plan B. And it's, people say, they say, oh, follow your passion. Well, that's great, but passions don't always pay the bills. So it's about finding something that is going to keep you engaged and interested and excited day after day, year after year. And as prosaic as it might sound, email was that thing for me. Email was the 800-pound gorilla in the corner of the room. Today, email is still that 800-pound gorilla in the corner of the room. And so I started as an email marketing consultant in January 2001. Nobody knew they needed me. I persisted and became a solution provider for an ESP, an email solution provider. And the relationship has continued to today. The platform, the solution has evolved and grown from email marketing to be a complete solution. I call it the only real RevOps solution on the market. And revenue operations is that discipline for bridging the gaps between marketing, sales, customer success, and operations, and getting everybody on the same page, speaking the same language with the same goals. And as far as the C-suite is concerned, whether you're the C-suite or somebody else is, it's the bottom line. So anyway, but
that's also a very new term. I mean, that's an role and position and, a realization, I think, of corporations, in the last 10 years, maybe, is this?
Maybe less. I mean, I had somebody tell me 3 years ago when she's like, well, show me Venntive. And I was demoing it and describing it. She's like, well, this is a RevOps platform. I was like, what's RevOps? And it's starting to become more widely known. It's my mission to bring that term to greater awareness, and that goes back to why a CRM is so important to your business, because it's where you bring all of your everything together in one place. That's also kind of where the name Venntive came from. Because it's with 2 ends, like a Venn diagram where everything comes together in the middle. And then it's also, the subdomain when you log into your account is in.venntive.com. So you're literally getting inventive in every sense of the word. So whether you're an entrepreneur working independently, a solopreneur, or a large company, it's easy to find yourself using multiple applications. When I have conversations with people, I'm like, so what are you using now? Oh, I'm just using a couple of things. And then they start thinking, and the list grows. And research shows that really small businesses can be using as much as 10 or more different apps. That's a problem. That is
Yeah.
a lot of problems.
Yeah, for sure. And just for the audience, and to make sure we're really on the same page with CRM, because some people, I don't know, it's a weird term around there to me that, people will call MailChimp a CRM, or something that's just like,
Right.
no, that's like it's delivering the thing. A CRM is, this is a place where you're actually managing, customer relationship
Right.
management, where you get all aspects of
Exactly.
interaction with them, not just their info, and then you send them stuff. Like, this is deal flow and all of these things.
Yeah.
And then expanding from that, what are the other areas that do, the Venntive does touch on and include as it expands out from the CRM?
You name it. I there's another acronym, PLG, that's even less known than RevOps. PLG stands for product-led growth, and it means it's where the provider is adding functionality in response to the customer's requests or suggestions, and also making it possible for prospects to set up a trial on their own and have it be totally self-guided. Gee, what a concept. That's what we all did back in the day. So I like to say that we're the OG of the PLG because, as I said, we started as an email marketing application, and about 18 months in, had a conversation with the chief architect who said, what do you think about adding CRM tools, CRM functionality? I'm like, oh my God. As a salesperson who used ACT, it was like, oh my God, that means that I can have all this contact information right there and along with email functionality. How cool is that? And because he designed missile systems before he designed this technology. He built a really solid foundation in the database, the way the databases are organized and connected. And so it enabled him to build out CRM and complete marketing automation stack, complete sales or / opportunity stack, customer support, customer success, lead generation tools. We even replaced DocuSign. We replaced SurveyMonkey. That being said, let me back up a little bit because I know that you do reach out to a lot of consultants and coaches. And I'll be the first to say that, Venntive isn't necessarily the panacea for everyone or CRM. I mean, some businesses, if you have a really tight business where you work with just a very few clients, spreadsheet might be all you need. But it can get unwieldy if you want to collect a lot of data points and be able to access them.
Yeah, and that's the piece, even at its simplest form, for me, just because it has a whole bunch of options. I'm fine ignoring most of them if I don't need them, but when that core functionality works really, really well, that's worth everything, right? Like and it just, even if I'm managing just a handful of clients, at some level, you're going to be reaching out to more. You're going to, heck, just forget clients, just a network of
Right.
people. If you really want to do that well, which I certainly hope you do, um, you know, as a business owner, when you can layer in those functionalities to your networking efforts, and make that a system. I mean, that's huge. Those are the differentiators to becoming that person that
Well,
everybody knows, that everybody needs to talk to.
yeah, exactly. And, and I, I guess I chose right because I still get excited every day talking about Venntive and talking about email. And it's like, and look, it does this and it does this and it does this. And so people are saying, I don't need all of that. This is overwhelming, or, and it's like, and so I'll address overwhelming first. For CRM technology to be successful, there's heavy lifting on the front end. You need to map out your processes and your systems and really understand how your business works or how you want it to work. And I think paper and pen or pencil is the best way to do that. You just put the pen to the paper and start thinking through, well, I do this, and then they do this, and then they do this, and then, step by step by step. And that's your blueprint for customizing your CRM instance, your CRM account. And then, and then it'll really work for you. It will help you. And if you're using something like Venntive, where it's the same user interface all across, it's single login in the morning and you're working seamlessly, you're not interrupting your flow. And research has shown that people actually lose literally hours per week toggling between different applications and maintaining those integrations and those separate and those databases. It's like, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing sometimes. It also introduces data security risks. That's a whole nother ball of wax or can of worms.
All those, yeah. And it also, I mean, on the system side of things, it's one of those that, again, often as solopreneurs or just starting out and bringing a couple of people in, we don't have those defined systems and processes in place, but we should. And so when you get into a platform like this, it's kind of good that it forces you to think through those things that you should be thinking through anyway, because it's just going to make your business more efficient when you can, okay, I do this same thing every time. Let me figure out, how can I automate it? How do I delegate? How do I, go through this process with it? And then the other part that I've heard you talk about, which is something to really keep in mind when you're deciding on a platform, in that growth mode is, what's gonna scale with you, because as hard as it is in the beginning to start a CRM, start putting information, getting all that into place, it's way harder to switch, midstream, and now like you're in scramble mode. And I know that's something that you've like well versed in.
Yeah. I mean, we make compromises. A lot of times we make compromises when we're first starting out because, if we're not one of those rare startups that gets VC funding, we're watching every dollar. And so we make compromises and say, oh, well, we can use, this is free and this is just a few dollars or whatever, and we can do that. And then, we're successful. We're growing. We're really growing. We're starting to grow really fast. Well, we need better we need something better than what we've been using. And now we have the money and the wherewithal to do it, but you don't have the time. And so, and I fully understand, those compromises. And so one of the ways that we've addressed that is every account in Venntive comes with every feature except for 2. And I can talk about those. They're not essential. They're really valuable, but and it's like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. There's so much. Well, yeah, you might not be using the document signing tool today, but next week or next month or whatever, or next year, when you're sending out agreements to clients or partners and you need to get those contracts signed, it's there and it's included. And it means that executed agreement is automatically attached to that person's profile in your CRM, back to CRM, so it's just a really, it makes it really smooth. And we've worked to make it really, really affordable. There's, like I said, every feature is part and parcel of your account, regardless of how small or how big you are. And we want to enable your growth and support your growth.
Yeah, I like that. And it is, just because I've been able to play with it a little bit, like there's just something that feels robust and solid with it, that it's also not, when you talk about, the chief architect of it, designing missile systems, that could go a lot of ways, right? Like that could go into like mass complication, horrible UI, any of those directions. If it's just like, man, it does a million things, and figure it out, but it isn't that. It isn't the sort of, I need a PhD in Salesforce in order to make one tweak.
You do need a PhD for Salesforce.
I know. I've used that one, and that is like, oh, I want to do this now. Well, we're going to have to call in the team of the company that's authorized to do that, and that, it's
and it's going to take months.
Yeah, and I think the vast majority of companies need that sort of system. And of course, you can, admin level stuff and, permissions and all of that stuff makes sense as you get bigger companies and stuff like that. But it needs to be something that's okay, especially smaller companies. Like I need to make this change now,
right? And some of the other this isn't necessarily an issue for solopreneurs, but it is an issue. It can become an issue when you start building a team and somebody they're like, well, I want to use this app over here, and they bring it in, and you've got this rogue app that isn't connected to everything else. It's more a matter of compromising data security, but there's a cost. They're all to paying for that application, or large companies are finding massive quantities of orphan apps too, where they sign license agreements. They've been paying for it. Nobody's using it. They're still paying for it, and so that's that. We just want to make it. We want to make it easy for you to. We want to make it easy for you to focus on building your business and being successful and making money. I'm a real bottom line person. For me, the only qualified lead is the qualified lead that's going to become a customer. I don't care how you slice it or dice it. And the only KPI that really matters to me, although I know there are intermediate KPIs, is the bottom line. Do I see money? Is there, money at the bottom line? Am I retaining that money? How much of that money am I retaining? So that's our thinking, and building and putting something like this out there.
Yeah, I dig it, and I just I really want to stress the importance of yes, have something to at this core, and it is. I mean, there are a lot of fine solutions out there, and but I think you bring up a great point of making sure that you are future focused, and making that may sting a little in the beginning compared to free or something, or let me hodgepodge six things together in the beginning because it's not that big a deal. And then, if all goes well, it's going to be a problem later. If all
Yeah.
goes well with your business, you're going to grow and need something more.
I think, again, going back to coaches and consultants, to get started, I think it's probably less than an hour of their billing, their bill rate to get started. So, it's not free, but never forget the old axiom: there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's a cost. There's always a cost to everything.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Before we wrap up, I want to make sure we touch on one of the new endeavors that you have going on too, that's incorporated in Venntive, but also kind of a standalone thing.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's natively integrated into Venntive. Venntive is the only CRM that has this. It's called Lead Finder in our platform, but I'm realistic enough to understand that not everybody is necessarily going to want to, rip and replace and move over to Venntive just to get Lead Finder and everything else. So we have a freestanding version called leadsherlock.co. And what Lead Sherlock does is it identifies those anonymous visitors to your website and provides not just the company and a list of possible matches like our competitors do. We identify the person and provide contact information if you have a B2B account, it's even going to give you their LinkedIn URL. So that, talk about great lead generation. They've already demonstrated an interest in what you do. They've already been to your site. So, but they didn't perform. So now you can go after them in a cool way, in a suave way, and nurture what's already a warm lead.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, and not rely on, well, did that lead magnet work to get their email or, any of that, and to just have, what is it, like some code that you kind of put on the site, and then
it's a snippet of code. It drops a pixel into your website. You can exclude certain pages. You don't care who's visiting your privacy policy or your terms of service. You do want to know if they're visiting your landing pages, and if it's got a lead magnet on it and they didn't download it, you definitely want to know, hey, why didn't you? It wasn't interesting. Why wasn't it interesting? What are you curious about? These are all questions you can ask when you get them on the phone. So yeah, and you log into your dashboard and you see who we've been able to identify. No, it's not 100%, but it's north of 60%, and that's 60% more information about those anonymous leads than you had before.
I love all those little ways of just, getting that, I don't know, it's just insight. Again, it's intent around it, right? And if that intent is, I want to reach out to that person, at least start a little relationship. Oh, maybe there's a human aspect there that, they didn't
Sure.
think was even possible. They weren't ready to like buy today, but hey, I just want you to know that's cool. Like, I just want to, what got you there? Let's have a conversation, like
I mean,
anything like that.
a million years ago, just right out of college, my first jobs were in retail. And I did really well because I engaged with everybody who came in the door. Did usually they would buy something. Usually if they came in to buy one thing, they'd walk out with three things. Because if you're gonna buy pants, you need a belt, or you need a new shirt to go with the pants or whatever. That it's the same thing. As long as you're sensitive about how you engage with somebody, this is incredibly exciting. And it's exciting that we're the only ones that have it.
Yep, that is. That's awesome. Lydia, thank you so much for being on. If someone is like, I need that, or I want to connect with Lydia, or I need to find out more, where do they go?
The easiest thing really is find me on LinkedIn. Just, I don't think there's another Lydia Sugarman on LinkedIn, but, the regular LinkedIn address, linkedin.com/Lydia Sugarman. And that's me, and DM me, and I will always be happy to talk to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being on. This has been a blast.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate you.
And we'll see you all next time. Thanks so much for tuning in and being a part of this show. If you want help creating authority building video content, or even a client generating show of your own, go to MediaLeadsCo.com and let's connect. I'll talk to you soon on the next Strategy in Action.